Oh my goodness, are you all right? Are you okay? Don't worry, I know what to do. Lean forward for me.
I watched the little boy's lips turn blue right there in the middle of the diner, and I knew if I didn't do something in the next 60 seconds, he was going to die. Nobody else saw it. The fancy-dressed woman sitting across from him was too busy yelling into her phone. The other waitresses were gossiping by the coffee station. The cook was smoking out back. Just me, wiping down tables in my stained apron, close enough to see his small hands clawing at his throat. But here's what you need to understand before I tell you what happened next, because what came after that moment changed my entire life in ways I never saw coming. This isn't just about saving a kid. This is about what people do when they think nobody's watching, about secrets that rich people keep, and about how one single choice can rip your whole world apart and put it back together as something completely different. The boy's eyes found mine. They were wide and terrified and asking me a question his closing throat couldn't form. I dropped my rag and ran. "Hey friends, thank you so much for stopping by. Don't forget to comment where you are watching from. Someone close to you might be watching too. Like, share, subscribe and tap the notification bell so you never miss a story. Make sure to watch till the very end, because the final twist is something you definitely don't want to miss." So let's continue. My name is Kelly, and I'd been working at Riverside Diner for 3 years. 3 years of smile even when they're rude and yes sir right away, and living off tips that sometimes didn't even cover my bus fare home. I was 26 years old, tired in my bones in a way that had nothing to do with age, and I'd learned not to look too close at the customers. Rich people came through our neighborhood sometimes on their way to somewhere better. They didn't see us. We were just the hands that brought their food. But that Tuesday afternoon in March, I saw him. The boy was maybe 7, 8 years old. He had on clothes that probably cost more than my monthly rent, a little button-up shirt and pressed pants. His shoes were so shiny I could see the diner's fluorescent lights bouncing off them. He'd been eating a burger, and the woman with him, tall, thin, dressed in a white suit that had no business being in a place like this, hadn't looked up from her phone once. Then his face started changing colors. I grabbed him from behind, wrapped my arms around his small body, and did the thing I'd learned in a free CPR class the community center offered last year. 1 thrust, 2. His body was so little, so fragile. 3, 4. "What are you doing?" the woman shrieked. "Get your hands off him." 5, 6. A piece of burger flew out of his mouth and skittered across the floor. The boy gasped. It was the most beautiful sound I'd ever heard. Air rushing into lungs that had been closed. He coughed and cried and breathed, and I held him until his body stopped shaking. The woman's phone clattered to the table. Her face had gone white. "Oh my God," she whispered. "Oh my God, was he choking? Was he actually—" "He's okay now," I said, still holding the boy. He'd turned in my arms and pressed his face into my shoulder. I could feel his tears soaking through my uniform. "You're okay, honey. You're safe." My manager, Carol, came rushing over. So did the other customers, everyone asking questions, wanting to know what happened. The woman kept saying she didn't know, she didn't see, she was on an important call. I looked down at the boy in my arms. He was looking back up at me with these huge brown eyes, and something in my chest cracked open. I didn't have kids, never had time for dating, let alone a family, but in that moment, holding this scared little boy, I felt something I'd never felt before. Something fierce and protective, and completely overwhelming. "You saved him," the woman said. Her voice was shaking. "You saved Jacob." Jacob. His name was Jacob. "I just did what anyone would do," I said. She shook her head. No, you don't understand. If something happened to him, his father would have—" She stopped, pulled out her phone with trembling hands. "I need to call him. I need to tell him what you did." That's when I should have walked away, gone back to wiping tables, let them return to their world and me to mine. But I didn't. I held Jacob until he stopped crying, until his breathing went back to normal, until his mother, because that's what I thought she was, gently pulled him away. "Thank you," the woman said. She pressed something into my hand. "Thank you so much." I looked down. It was $100 bill. By the time I looked up again to say I couldn't take it, they were already walking out the door. I thought that was the end of it. A strange moment in an ordinary day. A story I'd tell my roommate Sarah when I got home. Remember that time I saved a rich kid's life and got a $100 tip? But 3 days later, a black car pulled up outside the diner. Not just any car. The kind of car that probably cost more than I'd make in 10 years. Long and sleek and so clean it looked like it had never touched a regular road. A man got out. I was taking orders at table 6, and I literally forgot how to speak mid-sentence. Because this man, he looked like he'd walked out of a movie. Tall, maybe 40 years old. Wearing a suit that fit him like it had been sewn onto his body. Dark hair with just a touch of grey at the temples, and an expression on his face that made my stomach flip over. He was looking for someone. "Excuse me," he said to Carol. His voice was deep and smooth. "I'm looking for a waitress named Kelly." Carol's eyes went huge. She pointed at me without saying a word. He walked over. Every person in the diner was staring now. I felt my face get hot. "Kelly?" he said. "Yes?" "My name is David Winters. You saved my son's life 3 days ago." Oh no. The woman wasn't his wife. And this man looked like the kind of person who owned buildings and companies and maybe small countries. I started. "I need to speak with you," he said. "Privately. Please. I promise I'm not here to cause any trouble. I just need 10 minutes of your time." I looked at Carol. She nodded so fast I thought her head might fall off. We went outside. The March air was cold. I crossed my arms over my uniform. He stood in front of me, and up close he was even more intense. His eyes were the same brown as Jacob's, but there was something else in them, something that looked like pain. "My son told me what you did," he said. "How you were the only person who saw. How you dropped everything and saved him without hesitation. Do you know who I am?" I shook my head. "I own Winters Global, tech company. We're worth about $15 billion. He said it matter of fact, like he was telling me the weather. I mention that not to brag, but so you understand what I'm about to say. I can give you anything you want, name it. Money, a job, a house, a car, college tuition, anything." My mouth went dry. "I don't want anything. I just did what was right." He studied me for a long moment. "You live around here?" 2 blocks away. "In the apartments above the grocery store?" "How did you—" "I looked you up," he said simply. "I wanted to know who saved my son. Kelly Brooks, 26, working 3 jobs, sending money to your mother in Ohio every month because she's sick, living paycheck to paycheck despite working 60-hour weeks." I felt violated and exposed. "You had no right." "You're right. I didn't. But I need good people around my son, and you proved you're the best kind of person." He pulled out a card. "This is my private number. I want to hire you." "As what? A waitress?" I couldn't keep the bitterness out of my voice. "As Jacob's nanny." The world tilted sideways. "What?" "The woman who was with him. That was his previous nanny. Stephanie. She's been fired. I need someone who actually pays attention, someone who cares, someone who would drop everything to save him." His voice cracked just slightly on that last word. "I need you." "I don't know anything about being a nanny," I said. "You know how to see people, you know how to care. That's more than anyone else I've hired." He held out the card. $50,000 a year, full benefits. You'd live in the guest house on my property. Your mother's medical bills would be covered. $50,000. I made 18 working 3 jobs. "Why me?" I whispered. "Because when everyone else looked away, you looked closer. That's rare. That's precious. And my son needs that." His eyes met mine. "Please, just think about it." He got back in his car and drove away, leaving me standing on the sidewalk holding a card that felt like it weighed 1,000 pounds. Sarah thought I was insane for hesitating. "Are you kidding me right now?" She was pacing our tiny apartment, waving her arms. "Kelly, Kelly, he's offering you $50,000 to take care of one kid. One. It feels wrong, I said, like I'm taking advantage of what happened. Taking advantage? You saved that boy's life. You deserve this. And think about your mum. You could actually help her instead of just scraping by. That hit hard. Mum's diabetes was getting worse. The bills were piling up. I sent what I could, but it was never enough. I looked at the card. David Winters. Private number. I called. He picked up on the first ring. Kelly. I'll do it, I said, but I have conditions. I want everything in writing. I want to meet Jacob first, make sure he's comfortable with me, and I want to be clear, I'm doing this for him, not for you or your money. There was a pause. Then, deal. Can you start Monday? That was 4 days away. Yes, I said, and wondered what I'd just agreed to. The Winters estate wasn't in the city. It was 40 minutes north, behind gates and walls and security cameras. When I pulled up in my beat-up Honda that first Monday, the guard actually laughed before checking his list and waving me through. The main house looked like something from a TV show, all glass and modern angles. But David walked me past it to a smaller building behind it, still bigger than my apartment by 3 times. This is yours, he said. Bedroom, bathroom, kitchen, everything you need. Jacob's room is in the main house. You'll spend days with him, nights here. Unless there's an emergency. I walked inside. It was beautiful, clean and bright and mine. Thank you, I said softly. Don't thank me yet. His voice was tight. I need to tell you something about Jacob, something important. We sat down. My heart was racing. Jacob hasn't spoken since his mother died, David said. 2 years ago. Cancer. She was only 34. He was there when she passed, and since that day he just stopped talking. Therapists say it's selective mutism brought on by trauma. He communicates by writing and nodding and shaking his head, but he won't speak. My chest hurt. I'm so sorry. The nannies before you, they didn't have patience for it. They got frustrated, treated him like he was being difficult on purpose. But when you held him that day at the diner, do you know what he told me? I shook my head. He wrote it down. She made me feel safe. That's all he said. But Kelly, he hasn't felt safe in 2 years. So whatever you did, whatever magic you have, I need you to keep doing it. I met his eyes. They were pleading. I'll do my best, I promised. Jacob was waiting in the main house. When I walked in, he was sitting on a huge white couch looking tiny and lost in the massive room. He saw me and his whole face changed. He smiled. I smiled back. Hey, Jacob, remember me? He nodded hard. Your dad told me you and I are going to spend time together. Is that okay with you? He nodded again, then he pulled out a notebook and wrote something. Held it up. Thank you for saving me. My eyes got hot. You're welcome, honey. That was scary, wasn't it? He nodded, wrote again. Nobody else saw me? I saw you, I said, and I always will, okay? He studied me for a long moment. Then he got up, walked over, and hugged me. I looked up and saw David standing in the doorway. The expression on his face was something I couldn't name, something that looked like hope and heartbreak mixed together. The first week was an adjustment. Learning Jacob's routines, his likes and dislikes, the way he communicated through his notebook and his eyes and his little boy body language. He liked pancakes but not waffles. He loved dogs but was scared of loud noises. He did his homework without being asked, but needed someone to sit next to him while he did it. And slowly, carefully, he started opening up. He showed me pictures of his mother. She was beautiful. Long dark hair and a smile that looked like sunshine. He wrote about how she used to sing to him, how she made the best spaghetti, how the house felt empty without her. I told him about my dad who died when I was 12, how I understood what it felt like to have a hole in your life shaped like a person. He looked at me with those serious eyes and wrote, "Does it ever stop hurting?" "No," I said honestly. "But it gets different, softer, and you learn to carry it better." He held my hand. David watched us. I felt his eyes on us when we played in the yard, when I helped Jacob with his reading, when we made cookies in the kitchen and got flour everywhere. One evening, after Jacob was in bed, David knocked on my guest house door. "Come in," I called. He stood in the doorway looking uncomfortable. "I wanted to say thank you. Jacob he's different with you. Lighter. He's a special kid," I said. "Yes." David ran a hand through his hair. "Kelly, I need to ask you something. Has he tried to talk? At all?" "No. But he communicates just fine. Why? Are you hoping I'll fix him?" "God, no. I miss his voice." His own voice broke. "I miss hearing him laugh and yell and sing off key. I miss all of it." I saw then what I should have seen before. This wasn't just a rich man hiring help. This was a father drowning in grief, trying to save his son with the only tools he had, money and desperate hope. "He'll talk when he's ready," I said gently. "You can't force healing." David nodded. "You're very wise for 26. I'm very tired for 26, I corrected. "There's a difference." He almost smiled. Then he left. 2 months in, something shifted. Jacob started having nightmares. I'd hear him crying through the monitor David had given me, and I'd run to the main house in my pajamas. I'd hold him and rock him and tell him he was safe until he fell back asleep. David started being there too. We'd pass each other in the hallway at 2 a.m, both of us exhausted and worried. "This is new," he said one night. "He hasn't had nightmares in months." "Trauma isn't linear," I said. "Sometimes when you start feeling safe enough to heal, everything comes up at once." "How do you know all this?" "Therapy," I said. "After my dad died. It's the only thing that saved me." He looked at me differently after that, like he was seeing someone new. That's when things got complicated. I started noticing things. The way David's eyes lingered on me. The way he found reasons to talk to me. How he always made sure I ate dinner, even bringing food to my guest house when I worked late with Jacob. And I started noticing him. The way his whole face changed when Jacob smiled. How he rolled up his sleeves when he was thinking. The sound of his laugh, rare but real when I managed to draw it out. This was bad. This was so bad. He was my boss, a billionaire, a man still grieving his wife. And I was the nanny, the help, the girl from the diner who got lucky. But when he looked at me, I forgot all of that. 4 months in, David's mother came to visit. She was exactly what I expected, elegant, cold, dripping with diamonds. She took one look at me playing with Jacob in the yard and her mouth got tight. "David, might I speak with you?" she said. They went inside. I couldn't hear the words, but I heard her tone, sharp, angry. When she left, David came outside. His jaw was clenched. "What was that about?" I asked. "Nothing." "David," he sighed. "She thinks I'm getting too attached to you, that it's inappropriate, that I should hire someone older and less—" He stopped. "Less what?" "Less everything you are." My heart was pounding. "And what did you say?" "I told her to mind her own business." He looked at me. "Kelly, Don't," I said. "Please don't say whatever you're about to say." "Why not?" "Because I can't lose this job. I can't lose Jacob. And if we cross this line, that's exactly what will happen." He stepped closer. "What if I don't care?" "You should," I whispered. "You should care." But neither of us moved away. That night, Jacob wrote me a note. "Do you like my dad?" My face went hot. "Of course I like your dad. He's a good man." Jacob shook his head, wrote again. "No. Do you like him? Kids see everything." "It doesn't matter what I feel," I said carefully. "What matters is you." He looked at me with those 2 old eyes. Wrote, "My mum told me before she died that Dad would need someone someday, someone good. I think you're good." I had to leave the room so he wouldn't see me cry. 5 months in, everything fell apart. A photo appeared online. Someone had taken a picture through the fence of David and me in the yard with Jacob. We were laughing. David's hand was on my shoulder. It looked intimate. The caption, "Billionaire David Winters moves on with the help." The story went viral. Suddenly everyone had an opinion. The news called me a gold digger. Social media said I was taking advantage. David's business partners expressed concern. David's lawyers sent cease and desist letters, but the damage was done. His mother called. I heard him yelling, actually yelling, telling her to stay out of his life, and then she showed up at the estate. She brought lawyers and papers. "If you continue employing this girl in any capacity, I will initiate proceedings to prove you're an unfit parent," she said, cold as ice. Jacob needs stability, not a charity case playing house. I felt like I'd been slapped. "Get out," David said. His voice was shaking with rage. "Get out of my home." "Choose," she said, "your son's well-being or your infatuation with the help." She left. David stood there breathing hard. "Kelly," he said. "I'll pack," I said quietly. "No." "David, she's right. This is bad for Jacob. All this attention, all this drama. He needs peace. He needs you. He needs his father more. And if she takes you to court, if there's a custody battle..." My voice cracked. "I can't be the reason you lose him." David's face was anguished. "There has to be another way." But there wasn't. We both knew it. I packed that night. Jacob cried and clung to me. He wrote note after note. "Please don't go. Please stay. I love you." "I love you too, honey," I said, my own tears falling. "So much, but sometimes people have to make hard choices to protect the people they love." "Is this about my grandma?" David asked. He'd come to say goodbye. I nodded. He was quiet for a long time. Then, "She's been trying to control my life since Sarah died. She thinks I'm incapable of making my own decisions, that I need her money and her guidance and her approval." He looked at me. "But the truth is, I haven't felt alive in 2 years. Not until you. You made me remember what it feels like to hope, to want something, to imagine a future that isn't just surviving." "David, I know. I know you have to go. But I need you to know, this isn't the end. I'm going to fix this. I'm going to find a way." "Don't make promises you can't keep," I whispered. He kissed my forehead, gentle, heartbreaking. "I don't," he said. I went back to the diner, back to my old life, but everything felt wrong now, like I'd been wearing someone else's skin, and now I was trying to squeeze back into my own. Sarah tried to cheer me up. My co-workers asked what happened. I couldn't explain. I sent David updates on my mum. He still paid her medical bills, said it was the least he could do. I told him he didn't have to. He did it anyway. I dreamed about Jacob every night, about his little hands holding mine, his smile, his notebooks full of words he couldn't speak. 3 weeks passed. Then David's car pulled up outside the diner again. He got out, walked inside, came straight to me. "I found a way," he said. "My mother's lawyer dug into her finances," David said. We were sitting in his car. "She's been embezzling from the family trust for years, millions of dollars, using it to control people, to pay off problems, to maintain her lifestyle." I stared at him. "What?" "I confronted her, gave her a choice. Back off completely, and I stay quiet, or I go to the authorities." His smile was grim. "She backed off, signed a legal agreement. She's not allowed near Jacob or me without explicit permission." "David, that's huge." "There's more." He turned to face me. "I'm restructuring everything, putting my assets in a trust for Jacob, scaling back work. I'm choosing him, choosing us, choosing the life I want instead of the one everyone expects." "Us," I whispered. "If you'll come back, not as an employee, as whatever you want to be, partner, co-parent. Eventually, if you want, more. But no pressure, no strings. Just, please come back. Jacob needs you. I need you." My heart was going to explode. What about the media? What about people talking? Let them talk. I'm done caring what people think. I'm done letting fear make my decisions. He reached for my hand. Kelly, you saved my son's life. But you also saved mine. You reminded me that life is for living, not just surviving, that love is worth fighting for, that good people exist. I was crying. I'm not that special. Yes, he said fiercely. You are. You absolutely are. I came back. Jacob ran to me and wouldn't let go for an hour. He'd written an entire notebook of things he wanted to tell me. Every page was full. David showed me the new arrangements. I'd still have the guest house, but I was also listed as Jacob's legal guardian if anything happened to him. I was part of the family, really truly part of it. This is insane, I said. This is right, he corrected. 6 months later, something happened that I'd stopped hoping for. We were making breakfast. Jacob was helping me crack eggs, or mostly getting shell everywhere. He was laughing, this beautiful silent laugh that shook his whole body. And then David walked in and tickled him. Jacob shrieked, an actual sound, an actual voice. We both froze. Jacob's eyes got huge, his hand flew to his throat. Did you just... David started. Jacob's mouth opened, closed, opened again. Dad? His voice was rusty and small and uncertain. David dropped to his knees. Tears were streaming down his face. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, it's me. I can talk again, Jacob whispered. Then louder. I can talk. He threw his arms around his father. They were both crying. I was crying. And Jacob looked at me over David's shoulder and said, "My Kelly, you made me feel safe enough to find my voice." 2 years later, David and I got married in a small ceremony in the backyard. Jacob was the ring bearer. My mother was there, healthy now thanks to proper treatment. Sarah was my maid of honor. David's mother was not invited. I'm not a fairy tale kind of girl, I said in my vows. I don't believe in perfect endings or magic fixes, but I believe in this, in choosing each other every day and building something real and messy and beautiful. In family we create, not just the one we're born into. David cried, Jacob cried, everyone cried. After, when we were cutting the cake, Jacob whispered to me, "Mom would have liked you." "Yeah?" I said. "Yeah. She always said Dad needed someone who'd keep him honest, someone real." He grinned. "You're definitely real." I laughed. "Is that a compliment?" "The biggest," he said seriously. "Then, I'm glad you saved me that day. Not just from choking, from being alone." I hugged him tight. "Baby, you saved me too." People still write articles sometimes about the waitress who married the billionaire, about the Cinderella story. They get it all wrong. This isn't about money. It's not about status or luck or any of that. It's about seeing people when everyone else looks away, about choosing love even when it's hard, about building a family from broken pieces and making something beautiful. It's about how one moment of paying attention, one choice to drop everything and help, can change everything. I still work at the diner sometimes, once a month, because I never want to forget where I came from, what it feels like to be invisible, to be struggling. And every single time I look, really look, at every customer, every person who walks through that door, because you never know when someone might need saving, and you never know when saving someone might save you right back. The check from that first day is framed in our house, the $100 bill David's mother gave me. Next to it is a photo of Jacob from the diner, his face scared and choking. "Why do you keep that?" David asked once. "Isn't it traumatic?" "It's a reminder," I said, "that the worst moments can become the best beginnings, that fear and love are sometimes the same thing, that you can't know how your story will end when you're in the middle of the scariest chapter." He kissed my temple. "You're annoyingly wise." "You're annoyingly rich," I shot back. "And yet you married me anyway." "I married you despite that," I corrected. "I married you because you're a good father, because you make me laugh, because you fought for us when it was hard, because you see me." "Always," he promised. "I'll always see you." Jacob is 10 now. He talks non-stop, making up for lost time, David jokes. He wants to be a doctor, says he wants to save people like Kelly saved him. "You can be anything you want," I tell him. "I want to be like you," he says simply. That's when I know we did it right. When the kid who couldn't speak now has so many words. When the father who was drowning found his way back to shore. When the waitress who was invisible became the center of someone's world. Not because of magic, not because of money, but because when it mattered most, people chose each other. And that's the kind of story that doesn't just end. It's the kind that keeps going. The moral of the story. The simple act of truly seeing someone when everyone else looks away can change not just their life, but yours as well. Your worth has nothing to do with your job title, your bank account, or where you come from. It lives in your character and the courage you show when it matters most. Real healing happens not through force or pressure, but when people feel safe enough to be vulnerable, which means sometimes the greatest gift you can give is patient, unconditional presence. True love requires the bravery to choose each other even when society judges you, circumstances work against you, and fear whispers that it's too risky. The most powerful families aren't always connected by blood. They're built through daily choices to show up, sacrifice, and commit to each other's well-being. We often overlook the people who could teach us the most because we're too busy admiring wealth and status instead of recognizing the quiet wisdom in those society calls ordinary. In the end, you don't need money, power, or a special title to make an extraordinary impact. You just need to pay attention when others ignore, care when others turn away, and act when others freeze. Sometimes the moment you reach out to save someone else becomes the exact moment you discover how to save yourself. Dear friends, what you just saw is only one part of the bigger picture. In the next video, I'll reveal the twist no one saw coming, so make sure you're here when it drops. I would love to know what you would have done in this situation. Drop your thoughts below. I'll be reading every single comment. Thank you so much for watching. I love you so much, and don't forget to give this video a like, hit the subscribe button, and share with someone who needs to hear it.